The story begins with the protagonist revealing that the person who sits next to him, Akutsu Riko, is some sort of delinquent. She rarely attends class, and when she does, she is always late and often spends the time sleeping. Her friends appear to be just as troublesome as she is. He initially thinks someone like her wouldn't impact his life, but to his surprise, she has turned his room into her personal hangout spot. Their encounter happens in front of his house, where she barges in uninvited, and ever since then, she has been coming over nearly every afternoon. One day, she is shocked that he doesn't have the next volume of a book she's reading, and without hesitation, she orders him to go buy it for her. He starts to feel anxious, realizing he needs to find a way to get her out of his room. To make matters worse, she insists on practicing some pro wrestling moves on him. When he tries to tell her that it's getting late and she should probably head home, she cuts him off, telling him to shut up and assuring him it's fine. She won't stop until he gives up, she says. Fearing injury, he complies, but she wraps her legs around his neck, choking him. Desperate, he taps out and tells her he gives up, but she laughs, pretending not to hear him. Reflecting on the situation, he thinks that if he truly wanted to stand up to her, he wouldn't have given in so easily. Despite the beating, he can't help but think it's not entirely unbearable. Yet, it still feels strange to have someone he barely speaks to in class now lounging in his room. If it were a normal girl, he muses, the situation might be amazing. But since it's Akutsu Riko, a delinquent, he can't shake his anxiety. He wonders if a guy might show up later to threaten him, or if this will lead to an awkward confrontation in class. She casually mentions that she's getting sleepy and that it would be too much of a hassle to go back home, so she decides she'll just stay over for the night. He blushes, torn between fear and desire, thinking to himself that even if he ends up getting robbed later, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad trade-off. In the end, his inner desires triumph over his worries.